on the Engaging Immigrant Talent initiative, I learned that it is important to identify oneself as friend or foe. I am friend, I am an ally. I do not assume to know the immigrant story based on relationships or family ties, but I can relate to the experience of moving to a new place, leaving family behind with the hopes of advancing my career and pursuing an education. My journey was made slightly easier than many because I merely crossed state lines as an American, not borders or oceans as an immigrant. I recognize this as my privilege. It comes with awareness, responsibility, and accountability. Privilege can be earned or freely given. I do not take this lightly. That is my awareness. I leverage my privilege as an ally to the immigrant community when I am given a seat at the proverbial table. I bring a chair with me for someone else to sit because I cannot speak for the community in which I have formed an allyship. And if there is no room for another chair, I will dismantle or disrupt the status quo. That is our responsibility. I am intentional about being an ally. We designed the Engaging Immigrant Talent Toolkit for employers and brought immigrants onto this project in a variety of ways. Their voices are represented throughout this project and the pages of the toolkit. That is accountability. Here is a video of a conversation in their own voice.
Hi, I'm Monica Molina from Colombia. I've been living in the United States for around 7 years. I'm bachelor's degree in computer engineering and a specialist in software engineering. Currently, I'm working as an analyst programmer in a nonprofit healthcare organization in Philadelphia. In 2017, I graduated from the first cohort of the Immigrant Leadership Institute program from the Welcoming Center. And since then, I continue volunteering at the Advisory Council of the Welcoming Center, supporting activities to improve immigrants' lives. In 2020, I also joined to I Belong Philly, another organization that was born in a Welcoming Center program.
Hi, my name is MIYA CHOI. I'm from South Korea. I'm currently a serving member of Advisory Council at the Welcoming Center. I arrived in US 15 years ago as a student, and now I settled down in US permanently. I have obtained master's degree in international affairs here in US and have worked at several organizations, including political consulting firm and the United Nations.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm from France. I have been here in the US for a little over 5 years. I have a master's degree in business finance, and for almost 2 years now, I have been a program manager at the Welcoming Center. But before that, I was a participant, and I graduated from the Immigrant Leadership Institute. And after that, I joined I Belong as well in 2018.
Hi, my name is OGBONNAYA. I'm from Nigeria. I came to the US as a graduate student in 2017 and graduated with a master's in organizational leadership in 2019. Before I came to the US, I worked as an educator and a school director at a nonprofit school that served children from low-income homes. Since being in the US, I have worked in a couple of nonprofit organizations as an intern and as a full-time employee. I was a part of the 6th cohort of the Immigrant Leadership Institute at the Welcoming Center and have continued to be a part of different programs and organizations that serve immigrants.
I will share my challenging experience and also good experience. And the challenging experience was at some point in one of my US work experience, I felt abnormal at work because my working style and communication manners differed from the American colleagues. But the difference is not an abnormality, but I feel that way. Often American colleagues don't understand that the difference comes from cultural differences, not personality. And sometimes they might have like condescending attitude. So that was really stressful for me. And obviously the outcome of work was not good. And contrastly, and my good experience in the US was when I was working at the UN. As you know, the employees at the UNs are from all around the world and have diverse background. So colleagues were understanding and patient each other with different working styles and communication manners, which often come from different cultural background. And we communicated in English, which was the second language for many of them. Yet we all could work very well and the outcome was effective. I felt respected and equal and had less stress from the social interaction at work, so that I could use fresh mind to focus on work better.
I think that's one of my most one of the work experience that I found very successful was when I was an intern with a nonprofit organization. Um, it was an organization that it wasn't just about the organization, it was about the team that I was working with and how they were intentional about creating an environment that helped people thrive. So coming into that team, I wasn't treated as an outcast. I wasn't treated like someone who wasn't intelligent. They saw and recognized the value that I brought to the table. They engaged that value and they worked together to see me succeed. Even though I was just an intern, I felt like I was part of the team. On the other hand, I think that one of the most challenging thing I've had to deal with as an immigrant in the workplace is being treated as a diversity number. A lot of organizations these days are talking a lot about diversity, and sometimes we think that it is just about having a certain number of immigrants or a certain number of Black people, or people of color. But the truth is that we're not just a number, but human beings, and we need to be treated and recognized as that.
Sure, as well. So I'm also gonna have like bad experience and a better experience. The bad one is when I was looking for a job, and I get a lot of rejection, which is normal. But the job that I had previously to the Welcoming Center, I applied in August, and I have followed up many times. And during that time, I was doing a job that was really hard, that I really wanted to leave. And so, but this company that I applied in August, they got back to me in October saying, "Oh, are you still interested in that job?" And in 1 week, I had to do a phone interview and 2 in-person interviews. And after I was hired, but it's just all of this time that it took for me to get the job was not the best. And so that was a bad experience. And the good thing that I would say, like the workplace culture in the US, in my opinion, is that if you want to work in the position you are, and especially in the nonprofit world, if you offer to do something, or if you ask questions and always offer, there is always people to accept that offer and let you do a lot more than what you're supposed to do. And so I love that idea that it's there.
One of the most challenging interviews I have had was one during the first days when I started sending job applications. It was a phone call interview. I was very nervous. I couldn't understand the interviewer. It was very uncomfortable. I realized he got stressed and frustrated. It was difficult, but I didn't give up until I was able to do it better in the next interviews. On the other hand, my best interview moment was during the selection process in my current company. It was a technical presentation. I was nervous, of course, but I could show my skills. I felt a good connection with the audience. They became very interested in the topic. They asked several questions, and the best, I got great feedback from who would be my future supervisor. say immigrants are also very talented. In many cases, we arrive with impressive backgrounds and experience. In many cases, they have diplomas from master's degrees, PhD, and they only need an opportunity to bring all their skills to the society and economy. Also, I would like to share something that I found helpful. My current company has a workflow to validate the authenticity of the diplomas by themselves. So I didn't need to translate the diplomas. I mean, I get abroad all my diplomas. I study abroad. So I didn't need to do additional paperwork.
Language is important, but language is one thing as a communication tool. And most immigrant job seekers have a language ability to communicate with people at work. So please see the other valuable attributes beyond the language that immigrant employees can bring up to your company. Like they're smart enough to speak another language and brave enough to come to a new country to live and work. And immigrants from different cultures bring fresh views and ideas, but also they are often persistent, adventurous, and disciplined. So these are really good attributes that I want you to see from us.
I want to go right after that because you just said some things that are very important to note. You know, when people decide to leave where they know what they are used to and decide to create a different life for themselves somewhere else, it means that they have a certain level of discipline, of resilience, you know, and a lot of times immigrants come to workplaces determined to make it work, you know. So they usually go the extra mile to get job done, sometimes even not taking paid time off or taking vacations just so that they can prove themselves. You know, I believe that organizations need to recognize the work that people put in and not take advantage of those things, you know. So it's important to recognize what people are bringing in, what immigrants bring into your organization, and promote them when you see them doing good job. You know, don't take advantage of people because you think that you would always have them there. You may not.
Immigrants want to be treated like anyone else, and they don't want to be overlooked. Doesn't mean that the system right now doesn't need to be adapted, but like just like anyone else who applies to a job, just consider an immigrant like another applicant. You know, like if you have a diploma from another country, you still have a diploma. It doesn't mean it's from another country that it's not valuable. And the last thing I'd say is that Americans now are very able to see like intersectionality between like race, sex, gender, but I think they don't see yet this intersectionality with immigrants, and that there is a lot of things that are just specific to immigrants, but that also, that doesn't mean the immigrants are only affected by this, they're also affected by a lot of other factors, and that this needs to be treated and thought of.
And I also want to remind you that nearly more than 40% of all global GDP now comes from cross-border transactions. So practicing work with people with a different cultural background at home here will be really helpful for US companies in the global business environment.